The curtain will come down on Singapore's bicentennial commemoration tomorrow with the launch of an immersive art exhibition called #futuretogether. It's among a slew of events that were organised to mark 200 years of history for Singapore, including the hit bicentennial experience, which attracted more than 750,000 people. Now, joining us tonight is co-chair of the Ministerial Steering Committee for the Singapore Bicentennial, Desmond Lee. He's also Social and Family Development Minister. Good evening, Minister. Welcome. Let's take a look back at the past year. What significance did the bicentennial end up having for Singapore?
Bicentennial was an opportunity for us not only to mark the arrival of the British 200 years ago, but to give Singaporeans a look back over some 700 years of our history, the ups and downs. It gave us opportunity to pause and reflect about what it means to be Singaporean. And it gives a whole new generation of younger Singaporeans a sense about the history of our place and why we are who we are. And the themes of openness, multiculturalism and self-determination were very strong strands that ran through the bicentennial. And I think it just gives us the sense of confidence looking towards the future.
And there were many stories sort of told over the course of the year, and many ways of telling a story as well, which were quite sort of fascinating. What sort of reactions did you get from the public about, all the bicentennial commemorations?
Well, the bicentennial is not SG50, it's not celebratory, it's a commemoration. But Singaporeans have responded well. They liked the idea of looking back into our past, lots of information that we didn't know. Now we know why we are who we are. But what was also very encouraging was that throughout the course of last year, some 340 organizations, schools, community groups, clans, religious institutions, companies, community groups all came forward to present their own history, present their story, and energize their own organizations and add to the color and vibrance of the commemoration.
Minister, not all Singaporeans went through or experienced Singapore's early years of nation development.
Yes.
Maybe even people at this table. But what do you think that the bicentennial brought to Singaporeans, and especially those younger ones?
Certainly a sense of reflection. We are so busy day to day. The bicentennial events throughout the year, and you just can't miss them around Singapore. Gave us opportunity to look back and see why we are who we are. Singapore, through the 700 years, there were times where we were sacked and destroyed. There were times where we were under occupation. There was the tumultuous independence era and the uncertainty of a fledgling nation. Some of our older generation are here to tell the story, but going further back, historians tell us what it is. The bicentennial experience, as you said, almost 750,000, 760,000 people, mostly Singaporeans, went through the show and had a bird's eye view of the history of Singapore and what it is to be Singaporean.
And these commemorations are not over just yet. I understand on the bicentennial calendar, #futuretogether. That's going to be launched tomorrow down by Gardens by the Bay. Tell us what we can expect from that.
So we want to round off a year of reflection and commemoration of the bicentennial with a Future Together movement. You started the bicentennial year at the Singapore River, looking into Singapore, up the river, like what Sri Tibuana and Raffles would have seen, sort of, 200 years and even further back. But we'll start off tomorrow, Future Together, at Marina Bay, at Gardens by the Bay, looking out with more confidence into the world. And the show will start tomorrow officially and end in the middle of March. It will be both indoors and outdoors, some 7 different exhibits. Outdoors, you'll have ovoids in the water that help us explore the theme of connectivity. Connectivity among Singaporeans, connectivity with the region, connectivity with the world. Both of people, goods, services, ideas. Indoors, you have the digital, immersive, science, technological experience, allowing people to push the boundaries of possibility and allow us to pause and say, what is the aspiration for Singapore? There's also a message tree using augmented reality. I don't want to spoil the fun, but it will bring together, for those of you who took part over the last year, putting in your messages about your future and your aspiration for Singapore and for your children and grandchildren. It will appear through augmented reality in a message tree that will explore the theme of what our aspiration for the future is. And so I encourage you to, and all Singaporeans to visit.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be quite inspiring.
Indeed so.
So what's next then, now that we've come to the end of this bicentennial year? What more can we expect for Singaporeans to look forward to now that we've learned more about where Singapore's roots sort of came from, formed?
So the themes of the bicentennial of openness, multiculturalism and self-determination now segue into the three themes of Future Together, which is one of connectivity, aspiration for our future together, and the possibilities that we can explore, the new technologies, new innovations, new industries, new ways of learning, new ways of interacting with each other. And we hope that building on the bicentennial, looking into the future, to next future milestones, whether it's SG 100 or the quarter millennia, Singaporeans having explored our 700-year history, look forward with a lot more optimism in light of global uncertainties, economic, geopolitical. We can work together and we can make the future happen for ourselves.
Yeah, and just a quick word, you mentioned global uncertainties and we're living in very sort of contentious and conflicting times. Does it almost become more important then to work towards learning about our past and planning our futures together?
Yes, absolutely. So during the bicentennial, we explored the theme of caring and how early pioneers in Singapore put in a lot of effort, resources and heart into taking care of Singaporeans, or back then the early arrivals who fell by the wayside and encountered difficulty. And this kind of energized our social sector, energized volunteers to strengthen our social safety nets. And so different aspects, not just the economy, not just the geopolitics, but also our transformation of Singapore society to look after each other and say that, well, in the past, Singaporeans of yesteryear did it. We can do it as well.
Yeah, the Singapore story is a journey of many. Thank you very much for coming into the studio to share that with us, Minister. But we've been speaking there to Desmond Lee, co-chair of the Ministerial Steering Committee for the Singapore Bicentennial.